All right, welcome to the sixth and final problem string called fractions as operators. The first problem we're going to work on is one where you should take some of the learning that we've done in the last few problem strings and apply it here. And it is 25 hundredths times 8. So go ahead and figure that out. Pause and solve. I'm going to explain it in 3, 2, 1. So we should recognize 25 hundredths as 1/4. And 1/4 of a number is taking it in half twice. So again, I can start at 1 of 8. Half of 8 is 4, dividing each number by 2. And then dividing again by 2 to get to a fourth. And to get to 2. So 25 hundredths of 8. 1/4 of 8. 25 hundredths times 8, it's all 2. Remember, we're wanting to build on relationships and our knowledge of numbers. So what about 26 times 8? How can we use the relationships of numbers to make this simpler to figure out? Go ahead and try. All right, I'm going to solve this now. So I'm going to take some knowledge that we have of 25 and 25 hundredths and use that to help me solve this. So we know what 25 hundredths of 8 is. 25 hundredths of 8 is 2. How can I go from 25 hundredths to get to 25? Well, I multiply by 100. When I multiply each one by 100, I get 25. And this, we get 200. So if this was 25 times 8, our answer would be 200. Well, it's 26, so I just need to add one more group of 8 to get 26 times 8 equals 208. All right, what about 26 hundredths times 8? Go ahead and solve that in 3, 2, 1. All right, well, if I know that 26 hundredths of 8 is, or no, sorry, I don't know what that is. If I know what 26 times 8 is, which I do, 208, how do I go from 26 to 26 hundredths? I divide by 100. So if I divide our bottom number, 208, by 100, what is that going to give us? Remember, when we divide by 100, these two digits are moving 2 spots to the right. So that 2 went from the tens to the tenths, the 6 from the ones to the hundredths. So this 0 is going to be in the tenths, this 8 is going to be in the hundredths, and this 2 now is going to be in the ones. So 26 hundredths times 8 equals 2 and 800. All right, what about the problem 25 times 84? How can you take all of this thing that we're learning and think about this problem? And I'm going to solve it in 3, 2, 1. Well, again, what do I know about 25? I know 25 is 100 times 1/4, right? 0.25. If I think of 1/4 of, so we can look at this as 1/4 of 84 times 100. So 1/4 of 84. If I do halves twice to get 22, and then what? No, that's not right. Half of 84 is 42. Half of 42 is 21. So that's 21 times 100, or 2,100. All right. The next problem is 25 hundredths times 84. 3, 2, 1. Feel like Mr. Light, we just solved that. You're right, we did. We did just solve that. Because 25 hundredths of 84 is 1/4 of 84. So we already know that this is 21. And your final problem for this string is 25 hundredths times 23. Go ahead and solve that in 3, 2, 1. So If our ratio is 1 to 23, and we want to get to 1/4, we get there by dividing by 2 times. Which is dividing by 4, right? Because this was 84 divided by 4 is 21. So the first time I divide by 2, I'm going to get to what? Half of 20 is 10. Half of 3 is 1.5. That's 11.5 or 11.5. And I'm going to divide by 2 again. So half of 11 is 5.5. Half of a half is 1/4. So that's 5.5 plus 1/4, or another 25/100ths. And that gets me 5.75, right? Because 75/100ths plus itself is 1.5. 5 plus itself is 10. 10 plus 1.5 equals 11.5. Write about this strategy, write about the relationships that we've learned about 25 and 25/100ths and all that good stuff and how we use them. Bye.